Optimizing trading strategies has completely changed in 2026, especially for manual traders, because before, to optimize a manual strategy, it would take hundreds and hundreds of hours. The only way to do it was with a trading robot, and for a trading robot to actually optimize your strategy, you would have to have fully mechanical rules. And obviously this isn't the best if we want to trade manually, because always we need to have some discretional trading inside our mechanical trading strategy. And you're probably wondering now how this actually has changed, and this is thanks to Forex Test Online, because they have one major feature in their analytics that will do all the job for you, meanwhile you're just doing your normal backtest. And today I want to do a showcase that even having a completely ridiculous strategy, you can actually optimize it and make it work quite well. And before we dive straight in, just to let you know, back down in the description we've got a nice discount coupon for Forex Test Online, so you can get it for a cheaper price. And as you can see right now on the screen, we are on the euro against the dollar in the 4-hour chart, and you can see that I have opened a load of trades, okay? And this is basically a complete random strategy that just popped in my head, and I just backtested it to actually give you the showcase on how we could actually optimize this, even it's just a complete random strategy. And as you can see, I am trading on the 4-hour candles, and basically what I'm doing, and it's as simple as that, is that when a candle closes green, I'm going to buy and close when that candle closes. So as you can see here, I did a buy here, I did a buy here, and obviously if it closes red, I'm going to close negative, so I'm not going to win in this trade. So here it closed in a red candle, so I opened another sell, closed in profit, closed negative, closed in profit. And as you can see, it's virtually a random strategy. And as you can see here, I basically traded it from the 6th of April to the 16th of April, so 10 days of trading, and even just opening random, it actually made a profit of 23%. But if we actually go into the analytics, we can see that the equity chart isn't the best one. Obviously we had a big drawdown here, then we got a streak of winning trades, and then here it's more or less staying flat. We had another drawdown here, and then it picked up again. But it's not a consistent strategy, and here's where we can actually jump in and optimize. Obviously this isn't a discretional trading strategy, so we could do this potentially with a robot, but first we need to know how to program to create this robot, and second we need to know how to optimize with this robot. So there's two things that we'd actually need to learn to actually optimize this, and thanks to Forex Test Online, now we've got this completely implemented in our exit optimizer, because basically the exit optimizer is going to run thousands and thousands of backtests on the background while you're doing your backtest, and it will basically show you the best stop loss, the best take profit, and the best max holding duration. So basically it's like optimizing it on a trading platform like it be MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, where you put your trading robot and optimize it, or with any external optimization programs. But in this case, it's doing it completely on the background while you're running your backtest. And as you can see, basically we made a 23% profit, but if we apply this stop loss, this take profit, and this max holding duration, we're going to take it up to a 50%. So this is a 50% gain on top of that. But obviously we always got to be careful, because when we optimize a trading strategy, this doesn't mean it's going to work straight forward on the future, because obviously it's, like I said, it's the best parameters set for this set of time and based on these 47 trades. So now what we've got to do is basically do a forward test, the same as we would do any optimization that we would do with trading robot. We need to do a forward test to actually see if these changes that we've implemented work as well in the future, because at the end of the day we are interested in trading in the future and not in the past. So now basically what we need to do is do a forward test on this, and obviously I've done it, but first of all I want as well, so you can see that we have analytics inside that will tell us the points that we can actually improve of our strategy. In this case I haven't picked any up here, but here are some interesting, like consider increasing the position size after winning streaks. And if I click in, we'll basically see that if I take one shot in terms of I do 2 trades, I get 2 profits. The third trade, I am going to double the position for that unique trade. And by doing this, I would improve the actual gain on the net profit in the 41%, and this would mean virtually a 10% on top of my already existing net profit. But obviously what I wanted to focus on today is the exit optimizer, because it's a tool that can help us save hours and hours and hours of optimizing, especially if you're a discretional trader. This is gold, because at the end of the day, there's no way to optimize a discretional trading strategy in terms of having like data. You'd have to do it all completely manually, and that could take you months and months of backtesting, and here it's doing it in a couple of seconds. But let's continue through, because like I said, I am going to do a second backtest with 100 pips of stop loss and 150 pips of take profit and a max holding duration of 8 hours. Okay, I'm going to set it at 8 hours because basically it will be 2 candles of 4 hours, and I'm going to leave it like that right at the moment. Here I didn't use any type of stop loss, any type of take profit, and I didn't take in consideration any max holding time. So let's switch to the second backtest, and what I've done now is I've gone straight to 2026 to actually backtest it. So basically there's even a gap between the actual backtest and the forward test to give it a bit more stress, because at the end of the day, the market conditions in 2025 and 2026 are completely different. So at the end of the day, it's even more of a stress test as well to actually see how it performed. And now you'll be able to see that it made a 17% gain. And you're probably thinking now that then hasn't worked very well. But here's the big thing. Even it hasn't made more profit in the same amount of days, what we need to look at is a consistency, and that we'll be able to see it in the analytics. And if we come to analytics, if you remember, the past equity chart didn't look very well, but if we look at this equity chart, what do you think about this one? Here we've got obviously our small drawdown that happened here, but then it's more consistent in terms of the winning trades. Okay, and this especially worked out not because of the take profit, not because of the stop loss. What made the big difference was the max holding duration. Okay, because as you can see here, most of the trades didn't reach neither 100 pips of stop loss. That would be a range like this. Only this one here actually made a quite big movement, but it was 70 pips. It didn't reach 150. But what made the big difference was the actually max holding duration. And what I want to focus on right at the moment is that you understand that to actually get to this can take you a lot of time and a lot of backtesting, because you could be focusing straightly on that the best take profit and the best stop loss would be this and this, but you're not taking in consideration how much time you should hold your trades, and it could take you months to actually figure it out. And in Forex Tester Online, it's doing it completely automatically, so you can basically pick it up and do a forward test straight along. And that way, instead of doing a 100 backtest that you could easily do to actually find the sweet spots of the take profit, the stop loss and the max holding duration, you do it in 2. So this at the end of the day is the value that this is bringing in, and only because of this feature it's worth having Forex Tester Online, as well as we've got analytics inside where we can basically make our strategy better. In this case, considering increasing the position size after winning streaks has improved as well, because we have had a really nice win rate that we can see right below, that we had a 71% win rate, and our risk reward is similar to the 1-to-1. So this is really, really good. And just so you can have an idea, we only need a 51% win rate with a risk reward of 1-to-1 to make money in the market. Okay, and obviously if we've got a 55 or 60% win rate, that is a spectacular, because we're looking at maybe a profit factor of 1.3, 1.4. This is really good, and right at the moment we're sitting here with a 1.9 profit factor. Obviously, if we extend this to 500 trades, profit factor might drop. This is obvious, because at the end of the day, the more trades we do, we can see more different variations and how it actually performs in a long game. But starting off with a profit factor of 2 or 3, this is key to actually then take the strategy to a long backtest of like 500 trades, and there we can actually see the real profit factor. And if we had an initially a 2 or 3 in terms of profit factor, we could realistically see a 1.5, 1.6 in the long game. And if we take it to real, we'll be able to see probably a 1.4 profit factor, because obviously if we bring in bigger commissions and slippage and spread, then obviously it will take a little chunk of our profit, and this obviously can lower our net profit in total. But like I say, the focus isn't on the strategy, it's on the tool, that this will save you hours and hours of backtesting, and it will take you straight to the most optimal set. And the best thing is as well that if you, like I said before, you're using a discretional trading strategy, basically you can optimize it in a way that you don't lose the discretionality. You don't actually trade like a mechanical trader would. But what you can do is you can scroll through the stop loss, move it around. As you can see right at the moment, the stop loss between 68 pips and more or less 20 pips, 18 pips. The net profit stays more or less the same, okay? And here, the good thing is that we can basically then look at the market structure and put our stop loss above or below these market structure levels, always in between, let's say 20 and 60 pips, and you know that your profit is still going to be more or less the same. And the same obviously with the take profit. The take profit, if I bring it too lower, then obviously we can lose some profit. If I leave it at 2 pips, like I say, we're going in a loss, 3-4 pips, it's still quite low. But if I bring it up to 25, 20, more or less it stays all right. And if I bring it a bit higher, then obviously we're going to get even more profit, especially because at the end of the day we're using like a trailing stop loss, but with time instead of actually trailing the price. We are trailing with time, because as you can see here, the max holding duration, if I bring it lower down, then obviously it can lower the profits as well. But in this case, if we leave it at 1 day and 4 hours, we can see that we can actually max out even more profits. But like I said, this now is another optimization. Now I would have to try this in the future to see if it actually works, or I can stay with the optimization that it's giving me in the previous backtest, and that way I can just make a longer backtest and see how it performs. So like I said, don't forget to check out the discount coupon that you got down in the description. I hope you've learned something valuable in this video, and don't forget that my name is Jack, and I'll see you next time.